Have you ever wondered how a single act of kindness can change someone's life forever? Picture this: a quiet, unassuming young woman, overlooked by the world because she doesn't fit society's idea of beauty, crosses paths with a man who seems to have lost all hope. Little does she know that her simple gesture of compassion will set off a chain reaction neither of them could have predicted. This is not just another fairy tale, it's a story about humanity, connection, and the unexpected twists fate can throw at us when we least expect it. The girl at the center of our story isn't your typical protagonist. She's plain, reserved, and often fades into the background in a world obsessed with appearances. Let's call her Emily for now. Emily works long hours at a small cafe downtown, pouring coffee for strangers who barely glance her way. Her days are predictable, filled with routine and solitude. But what makes Emily special isn't her looks or her social status. It's her heart. Despite being dismissed by so many, she carries an unwavering belief in doing good, even if no one notices. And on one rainy afternoon, that belief would lead her straight into the path of someone whose life was unraveling faster than he could handle. Enter the stranger, handsome, impeccably dressed, but visibly broken, cafe, like a ghost. His eyes hollow and his shoulders weighed down by something far heavier than the expensive suit he wears. No one pays him much attention except Emily. There's something about the way he sits in the corner booths, staring out the window as rain streaks down the glass, that tugs at her heartstrings. Most people might brush it off, assuming he's just another wealthy businessman having a bad day. But Emily senses there's more to his pain than meets the eye. What happens next between these two strangers will leave you questioning whether destiny really exists, or if some connections are simply meant to be. As Emily approaches the man cautiously, offering him a warm cup of tea instead of the cold indifference he seems accustomed to, their interaction sparks something neither of them anticipated. The man introduces himself as Daniel, though he gives little else away. His voice is polite but distant, as though he's built walls around himself that no one has been able to breach. Yet, there's a flicker of vulnerability in his gaze when he thanks Emily a moment, so brief it might have gone unnoticed if she weren't paying such close attention. It's clear that Daniel is carrying burdens too heavy to bear alone, and Emily's quiet kindness offers him a lifeline he didn't realize he needed. What Emily doesn't know, and what keeps viewers hooked, is that Daniel isn't just any struggling stranger. Beneath the surface lies a secret that changes everything. He's a billionaire CEO, powerful and influential, yet completely isolated from the world. His wealth has brought him success, but also immense loneliness, leaving him trapped in a gilded cage of his own making. Something happened recently that shattered his carefully constructed facade, pushing him to the brink of despair. Now, sitting in this humble cafe, sipping tea served by a kind-hearted girl who sees him as a person rather than a title, Daniel begins to feel a glimmer of hope he thought was lost forever. But here's where things get interesting. As their conversation unfolds, subtle hints suggest that this meeting isn't entirely coincidental. Was it fate that led Daniel to this particular cafe on this particular day? Or did something deeper guide him there? Meanwhile, Emily remains blissfully unaware of the magnitude of the man before her. To her, He's just another person in need. Kins of kindness, a reminder that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, craves human connection. Their exchange leaves both of them changed in ways they don't fully understand yet, setting the stage for a journey neither expected to embark upon. The tone of this story balances heartfelt emotion with a touch of intrigue, keeping audiences engaged as they root for Emily and Daniel. Themes of self-worth, redemption, and the transformative power of kindness weave through every scene, resonating with anyone who has ever felt invisible or doubted their place in the world. At its core, this is a tale about seeing beyond outward appearances and recognizing the value of genuine human connection. It challenges societal norms while delivering a narrative that feels authentic and relatable. Of course, the unresolved tension between Emily and Daniel keeps viewers guessing. Why is Daniel so troubled? Will Emily discover his true identity, and how will she react when she does? More importantly, what role will her kindness play in helping him heal, and what will he do to repay her? These questions linger in the air, creating a sense of anticipation that pulls the audience deeper into the story. Every word, every glance, every shared moment between them feels charged with possibility, hinting at a future neither of them could have imagined. As the scene shifts back to Emily's ordinary life after the encounter, there's a noticeable shift within her too. That fleeting connection with Daniel stays with her, sparking a curiosity she can't quite shake. She finds herself wondering about him, replaying their conversation in her mind, and feeling strangely drawn to the memory of his gratitude. Meanwhile, Daniel returns to his opulent but empty existence, unable to forget the warmth of Emily's smile or the sincerity in her voice. For the first time in years, he feels seen not as a billionaire CEO, but as a person worthy of compassion. The contrast between their worlds becomes more pronounced, highlighting the vast differences between them while emphasizing the universal truth that binds them. Together, everyone needs love and understanding. Yet just as viewers begin to settle into the rhythm of this budding connection, a twist emerges that throws everything into question. A phone call interrupts Daniel's thoughts, revealing a crisis demanding his immediate attention. Torn between his responsibilities and the newfound peace Emily brought him, Daniel faces a choice that could alter the course of both their lives. Meanwhile, Emily receives news of her ONA development that forces her to confront insecurities she's long tried to bury. As their separate challenges unfold, the distance between them grows wider, leaving fans eager to see how their paths will cross again. This introduction sets the stage for a captivating story that blends romance, drama, and inspiration seamlessly. By focusing on the emotional depth of the characters and the impact of their actions, it draws viewers in and keeps them invested. The cliffhanger ending ensures that curiosity runs high, compelling audiences to stay tuned for the next chapter. After all, the real magic of storytelling lies in its ability to remind us that even the smallest acts of kindness can ripple outward, touching lives in ways we may never fully comprehend. Daniel's crisis turns out to be a corporate scandal, threatening to dismantle everything he's built over the past decade. A trusted business partner has betrayed him, leaking confidential information that could ruin his company and tarnish his reputation. For someone who prides himself on control, precision, This betrayal hits harder than anything else in his life. It's not just about the money, it's about the years of relentless work, the sacrifices he made, and the loneliness that came with it all crashing down around him. He retreats into his penthouse office, shutting everyone out as he tries to salvage what's left of his empire. But no matter how hard he focuses on damage control, Emily's face keeps appearing in his mind, her quiet confidence, her genuine concerns, like a beacon calling him back to something simpler, purer. Yet, he pushes those thoughts aside, convinced that someone like her could never understand the weight of his world. Meanwhile, Emily is dealing with challenges of her own. The cafe where she works is struggling financially, and the owner reluctantly informs her that layoffs might be inevitable. This news shakes Emily to her core, not because she's afraid of losing her job, but because she knows how much the cafe means to the community. It's more than just a place to grab coffee. It's a sanctuary for people who need a moment of peace or a friendly smile. Losing it would feel like losing a piece of herself. On top of that, an old insecurity resurfaces when a customer makes a rude comment about her appearance, reminding her of all the times she's been dismissed or overlooked. She retreats into herself, questioning whether kindness really matters, when the world seems determined to ignore her efforts. Still, deep down, she can't shake the memory of Daniel, the way he looked at her, the gratitude in his voice. Something about their brief encounter lingers, giving her a small spark of hope, even amidst her struggles. As days turn into weeks, both Emily and Daniel find themselves stuck in cycles they can't escape. Daniel buries himself in work, trying to outrun the emptiness gnawing at him. But late at night, when the city lights blur outside his window cage, he wonders if there's more to life than boardroom battles and billion-dollar deals. He starts researching the cafe where they met, learning about its history and realizing how vital it is to the neighborhood. Though he tells himself it's purely professional curiosity, part of him wonders if helping the cafe could somehow bring him closer to Emily. Meanwhile, Emily begins volunteering at a local shelter after her shifts, finding solace in helping others despite her own troubles. One evening, while serving dinner to a group of homeless individuals, she overhears a conversation about a wealthy CEO whose company is under fire. The name Daniel Hartwell catches her attention, sending a jolt through her. Could it be the same man? She dismisses the thought almost immediately. How could someone like him possibly be connected to her ordinary life? The tension builds further when Daniel decides to take action. Disguising himself in casual clothes, he visits the cafe again, hoping to catch another glimpse of Emily without revealing his identity. When he sees her behind the counter, laughing softly with a regular customer, his chest tightens. She looks tired but still radiates warmth, and he realizes just how rare that quality is in the cutthroat world he inhabits. He orders a cup of coffee, intentionally choosing the longest line so he can watch her interact with others. But when it's finally his turn, Emily barely glances up, too distracted by her worries to recognize him. Frustrated with himself for coding behind anonymity, Daniel leaves without saying a word, vowing to find a way to bridge the gap between them. Back at his office, Daniel devises a plan. Using his resources, he anonymously donates a substantial sum to save the cafe from closure. He knows it's risky. What if Emily finds out? What if she rejects him outright? But the thought of her losing something so important to her feels unbearable. At the same time, Emily discovers the donation during a staff meeting, leaving her stunned and overwhelmed. Who would do such a thing, and why? As rumors swirl among the employees, Emily can't help but wonder if it has anything to do with Daniel. The possibility sends her emotions into turmoil. Is it possible that the stranger she met weeks ago is actually Daniel Hartwell, billionaire CEO? If so, why would someone like him care about someone like her? While Emily wrestles with these questions, Daniel faces escalating pressure from his board of directors. They demand drastic measures to contain the scandal, including cutting ties with certain partners and restructuring the company entirely. Daniel refuses to compromise his values, knowing it would mean sacrificing the integrity he's fought so hard to maintain. His defiance earns him enemies within his own ranks, isolating him even further. In a moment of desperation, he reaches out to Emily, sending a handwritten note to the cafe asking to meet her. The message is cryptic yet heartfelt. You reminded me of what truly matters. Please let me thank you properly. Emily reads the note over and over, her heart racing. Should she trust him? Or is this some elaborate trick orchestrated by someone playing games with her fragile hopes? Their eventual meeting takes place at a secluded park, away from prying eyes. Daniel arrives first, pacing nervously as he rehearses what he wants to say. When Emily appears, dressed simply but carrying herself with quiet dignity, his breath catches. She hesitates before sitting beside him, her guard clearly up. Why did you ask me here? She asks, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions inside her. Daniel hesitates, torn between honesty and fear of scaring her away. Finally, he admits the truth, not just about the donation, but about who he is and why he's been unable to forget her. Emily listens silently, her expression unreadable. When he finishes, she looks at him with a mixture of awe and skepticism. Do you think throwing money at problems fixes everything? She asks, her tone sharper than intended. Daniel flinches, realizing how his actions might have come across. No, he replies softly. But I wanted to show you that your kindness mattered to me, and to others. This confession creates a turning point in their relationship. Emily struggles to reconcile the man before her with the image of the untouchable billionaire she's seen in headlines. She senses his vulnerability, the cracks in his polished exterior, and begins to see him as human rather than a symbol of wealth and power. For Daniel, opening up to her feels terrifying yet liberating. He's spent years building walls around himself, but Emily's presence makes him want to tear them down. Their connection grows stronger, though unresolved tensions linger. Will Emily forgive him for keeping secrets? Can Daniel step away from his chaotic world long enough to build something real with her? As their bond deepens, external forces threaten to pull them apart. Reporters catch wind of Daniel's frequent visits to the cafe, sparking speculation about his involvement with Emily. Tabloids paint her as a gold digger, twisting her kindness into something transactional. The backlash is brutal, forcing Emily to confront harsh judgments she never anticipated. Meanwhile, Daniel's enemies use the media frenzy to destabilize his company further, framing him as distracted and unfit to lead. Torn between protecting Emily and saving his business, Daniel faces the toughest decision of his life. Does he retreat back into his isolated world, sacrificing love for ambition? Or does he fight for a future where kindness triumphs over greed? The climax approaches as Emily receives an anonymous tip exposing Daniel's role in the cafe's salvation. Confronted with undeniable evidence, she realizes the depth of his feelings and the lengths he's willing to go to protect her. But instead of gratitude, she feels conflicted. Did he save the cafe out of genuine appreciation, or was it a way to ease his guilt? Their next confrontation will determine whether their connection can withstand the weight of truth or if the gulf between their worlds is too vast to bridge. As the camera pans out, capturing the tension in their eyes and the unspoken words hanging between them, viewers are left breathless, desperate to know how this story will end. The confrontation between Emily and Daniel happens on a chilly evening under the dim glow of streetlights near the cafe. Emily stands with her arms crossed, her expression a mix of hurt and determination. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asks, her voice trembling but firm. Daniel looks at her, his eyes filled with regret. "I wanted to," he admits, running a hand through his hair. "But I was afraid, if I told you who I really was, you'd see me differently. And when I saved the cafe, I thought it would be enough to show how much your kindness meant to me." Emily shakes her head, tears welling up in her eyes. "It's not about the money, Daniel. It's about trust. You made decisions for me without even asking what I wanted." For a moment, silence stretches between them, heavy with unspoken emotions. Then Emily takes a step closer, her voice softer now. "Do you know why I helped you that day in the cafe? It wasn't because I expected anything in return. I did it because you looked like someone who needed hope. That's all." Her words hit Daniel like a punch to the chest. He realizes that his actions, though well-intended, have undermined the very thing he admired most about her authenticity. "You're right," he says quietly. "I messed up. But please, give me a chance to make it right. Not as a billionaire CEO, but as the man who saw something beautiful in you and couldn't let it go." Emily hesitates, torn between walking away and giving him another chance. As she opens her mouth to respond, a group of reporters appears around the corner, cameras flashing and questions flying. The media frenzy forces them into an alleyway where they huddle together, shielding themselves from the chaos. In that intimate space, surrounded by noise yet oddly alone, Emily makes her decision. She turns to Daniel and says firmly, "If we're going to do this, it has to be real. No secrets, no games. Just us." Daniel nods, relief flooding his face. "Deal," he whispers, gripping her hand tightly. Together, they navigate the storm, choosing to face it side by side rather than apart. Over the next few weeks, Daniel works tirelessly to clear his name and stabilize his company, while Emily becomes a grounding force in his life. She helps him reconnect with the values he'd lost sight of, reminding him that success isn't measured by wealth but by the impact one has on others. In return, Daniel supports Emily as she finds new ways to pursue her passion for helping people. With his encouragement, she starts a community initiative aimed at supporting small businesses like the cafe, turning her dream of making a difference into reality. As their relationship deepens, so does their understanding of each other. Daniel learns to let go of the need for control, embracing vulnerability instead. Emily, meanwhile, discovers a confidence she never knew she had. Realizing that her worth isn't defined by society's standards, their love story becomes a testament to the power of kindness, resilience, and mutual respect, a beacon of hope for anyone who feels invisible or undervalued. The climax of the story unfolds during a charity gala hosted by Daniel's company, where he publicly acknowledges Emily's role in changing his life. Standing before a crowd of influential figures, he speaks candidly about his struggles and praises Emily for teaching him what truly matters. "She didn't see my title or my bank account," he says, his gaze locked on hers. "She saw me, and because of her, I've learned to see myself and the world differently." The room erupts in applause, but Emily barely hears it. All she sees is the sincerity in Daniel's eyes. Knowing that their journey has only just begun, in the final scenes, we see glimpses of their future together. They move into a cozy home that reflects both their personalities, elegant yet warm, modern yet inviting. Emily continues her work with the community, inspiring countless others with her story. Daniel, now redefined by humility and purpose, uses his influence to champion causes close to Emily's heart. Together, they create a life built not on material wealth but on shared values and unwavering support. As the video fades to black, a voiceover reminds viewers of the central message: kindness changes lives in ways big and small. Sometimes, it brings two unlikely souls together, proving that true connections are forged not by appearances, but by the courage to be genuine. The screen lingers on a shot of Emily and Daniel walking hand in hand, smiling as the sun sets behind them. It's a simple image, yet profoundly meaningful, a reminder that love and kindness can transform even the most ordinary moments into something extraordinary.